Welcome to The Trade. Today, I'm your host and guest, Theo Goodman. All right, let's check out what's going on with the Bitcoin price. Right now, we're still above the weekly Ichimoku cloud. That's this gray area between the red and green lines. And, it's still going sideways. We had a little up move and then a little down move, and you can see in the grand scheme of things, it's really just compressing even more the price, and the range is getting smaller and smaller. So this green line right here, the weekly lagging line, still above the cloud and above the price. And this red line here, the Cajunson, what I think is a good sign is that it's not only sideways now, which means basically no momentum, is that it's starting to point up. So those averages look good, and we see that it's pointing up. So for a bearish scenario, I think the price would have to really break hard that level. And as you can see, that's a former support level that has been tested a few times. All right, let's move on. Here we've got Litecoin on the weekly, and here we can see clearly higher lows for weeks, higher lows for weeks. And even if you extend this line back a longer time, you still get higher lows. So that looks pretty good, but it's right up on that line. Let's take a look at the daily. So here's that same line, trend line on the daily. So it's right up on there. It's as far as the Ichigos, it's in the cloud, and this green lagging line is in the price and in the cloud. So it just means things are undetermined, and you can see it with the price. It's pretty choppy. So that's also what that confirms. Now, if it were to break down below that line real clearly and the lagging line come right out of that daily cloud, then I would say, okay, we got to test some former lows. But if it stays above this trend line and can break out to the upside and the lagging line also, then I would say contest this recent high over here at around 350. This is over at BTCE. So let's see what happens. But yeah, it's really, you can see it's really hovering on that trend line. Okay, let's move on. Here we've got the German DAX, the German 30. And, it's been open for about almost 2 hours now, hour and a half, 2 hours. And you can see that in this blue box, the price consolidated in this blue box for about 2 weeks or more and was very choppy. Look at these really crazy candles, some crazy wicks there. So the price has not been able to bust out of that 10,000 mark. That's really important. And that line right there, this horizontal line, you can see, it's right around that 10,000 mark, and it has not been able to break that psychological level. There's been heavy resistance. And just this morning, it's, selling off into the non-farm payment today that we're going to have later, that data. So let's see what's going to happen. Non-farm payroll, not non-farm payment, excuse me. And so I don't know, it's really kind of breaking down out of that box. And if it closes like that, I would say retest 9,500. All right, let's move on. All right, here we've got gold on the daily. Actually, let's check out this chart first on the daily. Here's a daily chart for gold. And this lighter trend line is one that's longer term from some of the old highs, and definitely busted out of that trend line. And this other one you can see that's a little darker is a shorter term trend line, shorter term, still, months long. But what's interesting is that trend line has become the support now, and the price is really sitting right up on there. So here it is, here's that same line. So the gold did sell off, broke under the red line here. That's the Cajun, but didn't quite make it all the way to the Ichi cloud itself, and found some support. Tested that Cajun again 2 times there on the daily, and was not able to bust through that level. And right now, it's really sitting on that trend line that has become support, that was former resistance. So let's see what happens today after the data, what direction this thing goes. I would suspect that it definitely is going to test this cloud area next week. And that trend line right there, kind of hover around that trend line and make a decision, up around touching that cloud. If it's going to break down and test the bottom of the cloud over there at 1100, or if it's just going to break out and bust out of these highs. Now, it did have a really aggressive move, so it didn't need to kind of chill out, and it is consolidating. So let's see what happens from there. All right, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching the trade on World Crypto Network. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, give us thumbs up and your comments below. Thanks a lot for watching, and talk to you next time.